So what is going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. And finally the Q&A is here, and a little bit late, I know, I apologise, but yeah, it's here, and 10,000 subscribers has come and has gone just like that, and we're now, I believe, on over 11k now. So that's been absolutely mental, and I cannot thank each and every single one of you for the growth. And the channel has been on an absolutely incredible tear lately, and ever since FY 2017 came out, it's just been really good to me, and I can't thank any of you guys enough for everything that you do to the channel. And I always try to reply to every single comment for you guys. I always try to get the interaction there, and hopefully you guys appreciate all the content I've been putting out lately, and over the summer, really, because I've been really trying hard this summer to really be consistent on my channel and really push out the content at a very consistent rate. But first things first, a little bit of news before we jump into the Q&A itself. It's an announcement I have to make, that, and it's the reason why this Q&A has been delayed a bit. And it's a big announcement in my opinion, and something I've been very happy with. You might have noticed in my channel banner and also on the Pit Lane podcast, you might have seen it, but I'm sort of officially announcing it now. So if I just move over to the side here, you'll see I am now officially sponsored by GT Omega. So that's like, it's mental for me to say this, because the fact I've managed to get to the point where I now have a sponsorship on my channel is absolutely mental, and it's all thanks to you guys, and I can't be more grateful for it. So a massive thank you to you guys. And yeah, I'm now a proud member of the GT Omega family, and I can't be more proud to say that. And this chair that I currently have is an absolute beast, and it's all thanks to you guys. And if you guys do want to get your hands on one, then I do recommend it, because I've been seriously impressed with this beast that I'm sitting on compared to my former chair. And it's made me realise after all these years, like, what have I been sitting on these last few years? Like, this is so much more better. And honestly, if you guys get a chance to, I do urge you to go get one for yourselves, because it's absolutely worth it. And also, if you guys do want a cheeky discount code, which I've managed to get hooked up with, then if you use the code TOM97, there'll be a link down below in the description. Then basically you get 5% off, so a little bit of a cheeky discount code there. And all the details will be in the description down below, so you guys can go check them out for yourselves if you want to get your hands on a bit of GT Omega stuff. Not just chairs, you can have, backpacks, or even a full racing rig if you want to. But yeah, just a massive thank you to you guys for making this opportunity possible, and something that I've been wanting to announce for a long time, and I can now sort of put it all over my channel everywhere, and just sort of officially announce it. But let's jump straight to the Q&A now and see what sort of questions you guys have asked me, and let's see what sort of damage we're going to get into here. So let's jump straight into the questions. Okay, so we're going to kick things off with a double question from the same person, from Switchback F1, and he asks, how is Marcus Ericsson so quick that he's going to win the World Championship, which he obviously isn't? And in IRL, what car do I have? I own a Peugeot 306. There'll probably be a picture on screen right now if I remember to edit that in. If not, then you can just Google one. I think a Peugeot 306. I think most people know what that car looks like, but yeah, Peugeot 306. Then we have a series of questions from Tim Noah, who is a very dedicated subscriber who I've seen before on Twitter and also on the YouTube section. And he's got a few questions here. So the first one, what do I think of Borussia Dortmund? Very good club. I'd love to go to the Signal Iduna Park one day. That'd be absolutely fantastic. That's like a dream of mine, to witness a German football game, especially in the big stand, in the main stand in the Signal Iduna Park. But second question, what do you think of the Bundesliga? Meh, not too bad, not my favourite league. And do I think that Chelsea can win the treble this season? No. That's a bit, just pushing it a little bit too much there. I would be happy with some sort of silverware. I would like to have a good run in the Champions League, try and get to the semi-final at least. And yeah, I'd be happy. I think retaining the league's going to be really hard this year. I think it's between the two Manchester clubs and Chelsea probably. So yeah, it's going to be hard on paper, but I'd be happy with some sort of silverware, which would be very good for the club. Next up, Talsif asks, do I support any teams in La Liga like Barcelona or Real Madrid? And the answer is yes and no. I don't really support a specific team, but I have a leniency towards Atletico Madrid, simply because my Spanish side of my family, like my grandfather and all that, he's like an Atletico Madrid fan, so I sort of have a leniency towards them. So yeah, I've got, like, if I have to lean towards a club, it would be them. The next question comes in from Casper, and he says, what wheel am I using? And that is a Logitech G27, and that is specific for the PC platform, and that was the wheel I got about nearly 4 years now. I got it in Christmas 2013, and I would thoroughly recommend to anybody who's, you know, going in there for a good price wheel at an entry level. The G27 is a very solid wheel, which, you know, has lasted, and I must have put easily a couple of thousand laps on the steering wheel, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I'd definitely recommend this one if you guys do get a chance to get it. Next up, Darlinch asks, congrats on 10k, thank you, and would you consider moving into content outside of track racing? And the answer is no, it hasn't really crossed my mind, to be honest, as of yet. I'm quite happy with F1. I did branch out to some MotoGP, but obviously that is track racing, so maybe. I've done dirt before on my channel, a couple of videos, but it's not on my mind right now, but who knows, maybe down the line, you know, what I would like one day. Right now, I'm not in a position to, but if I had more time and I just had, like, you know, mainly if I had better internet, then I could upload more videos and videos I would want to. I'd love to invest in like an Elgato and improve my PC, get some decent internet, and actually do some like NFS stuff, because I'm a huge NFS fan, and I've got a PS4, but I've got nothing to record with. And to be fair, I haven't played an NFS game in a while, so that'd be pretty sick. You know, I do like Forza. I've played it before, but I don't own an Xbox, and I wouldn't purchase one just for Forza. So yeah, let's maybe if that comes to the PC, which would be pretty sick. Yeah, maybe one of those sort of games. But other than that, it hasn't really crossed my mind, to be honest. Next up, Cameron asks, who is my favourite Chelsea player, and also who's my favourite Arsenal player? Favourite Chelsea player, all-time wise, that's Frank Lampard. Just an absolute hero of mine ever since day one. As early as I can remember watching Chelsea. I've always loved him. I always have a role model and top professional, and one that, you know, I always tried to follow when I was growing up. I used to play football, you know, just a player I'd love to play like, and dreamed of one day being like him. And in terms of my favourite Arsenal player, obviously I don't have one, but if I have to pick one, Petr Cech, for obvious reasons. Next up, Franklin asks, will I do a modded career on F1 2017 like 2016? And also shout out, so, yep, I'm shouting you out already with this question, but, yes. Right now, modding's a bit complicated. There's a few issues, and, modding can happen on the game, but it's very limited at the moment, so we need the programs to update sort of thing to make modding more simpler. And also, I'm waiting for the, mid-season F1 cars patch of the actual F1 cars to come through, to then start modding on those cars, because there's no point modding on the current cars we have, because they're just going to get replaced. So there's literally no point. So right now, yes, but I'm not planning to anytime soon, because I still think the vanilla game has got a lot of life left in it yet. Next question comes in from Griffin, and he asks, how long have I been a Chelsea fan, and who's my favourite Chelsea player? Well, the second one, I've already answered that, and the first one, Chelsea fan, as early as I can remember, to be honest, my dad's a Chelsea fan. He's been a Chelsea fan since the 70s, and I've just been brought up as a Chelsea fan even before the Abramovich era. Like, I was a huge fan of the Hasselbank, Johnson pairing, in the 4-4-2 back in the early year 2000s, which not many people seem to know about. But yeah, no, we had some great players over the years, and I honestly remember so many great goals, even like before the Abramovich era. And I honestly remember Jesper Kronke's infamous goal against Liverpool, the $1 billion goal. That was something special. But yeah, a lot of great moments, you know, seeing Zola a couple of years before he retired, also just, you know, some great times, and a lot of, you know, moments that people don't really talk about that often, to be fair. But yeah, I've been, my earliest memories are 2000, 2001, so I do remember a few things. But yeah, just a Chelsea family through and through, to be honest. Next question, has your dad ever beaten you with a toaster like mine does? No. Agent Bob says, will I try to do all 10 seasons of career mode on F1 2017? Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm gonna try. My plan is I'm gonna try and do like 3 or 4, maybe 5 on the default game, and then I might have to start bringing in some mods. But I may continue the career mode depending on how the R&D performs, because if the teams sort of stay the same all the way through, then it's going to get a bit boring. I want to see some teams sort of shuffle around a bit in the pack. So, depending on how the AI perform and how the teams upgrade or not, I may or may not do 10 seasons, but I am considering it. Time is a bit thin, so I don't know if I'll be able to pull off 10 seasons, but I'll try my hardest. Next up, F1 God says, how did I know that I really wanted to make YouTube content? And, I don't know really. It was a bit of, it wasn't an overnight thing. It just happened, you know. I used to watch videos, you know, way back in the day, but, I think what really got me, like, what made me really want to do it was, I just watched, the Minecraft project from Syndicate, which was like way back in the day. And, this was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. And, I just kept on watching the series. I was so addicted to it, and I just thought, why don't I just try and make some sort of videos or something? I mean, I like F1, so why not try it? So yeah, it just sort of stemmed from a few videos I watched, but yeah, it was never like a overnight thing or like a flip that switched in my head. The next question from Joseph is, will I do a cop series with Arav on F1 2017 or on the new game? And I don't think so. I could do with Arav. There is no reasoning why not. But I do enjoy the co-op I do with Callum, just because we're so like close for pace, and we sort of get the best out of each other, and I do genuinely enjoy really doing co-op with Callum. So I could do, but to be honest, I'm planning on doing one with Callum, which we are in discussions about doing soon. So yeah, who knows? Maybe sometime in the future. But with Arav, I prefer doing sort of like we do with Strata Glory, just sort of like more fun collabs. So yeah, for now, not in the plans. Next up, Marusha15 Gaming asks, what was the first ever race you watched on TV regarding F1? I watched a few. I've got like some like spare memories. Like I remember as far back as like Suzuka 2000. I remember some. I don't know why. I remember like the Ferrari going for 130R at some point. But the first race that really stands out, where I can remember like almost every single lap and how the race went, is Imola 2005. That's the one that's the earliest memory I have, and I was about 7 years old at the time, where I can really vividly remember how the entire race went. And from that point on, I can remember every single race. And before that, it's just sort of like little bits of races. Like I watched them with my dad all the time, but obviously I was just a bit young to like remember most of it. So yeah, like the first one was probably Imola 2005 that I really remember what I was watching. Jonah Plays asks, what made you get into F1 and YouTube? Well, I sort of just answered this, but specifically into F1, it was sort of like a catalyst from what I just previously said about just watching videos. It was basically applying, why not do this also myself, but instead of Minecraft, why not just do F1? And at the time, you had Alex Afro and Into the Barriers, the biggest YouTubers in the community, and you had sort of Arrow from like a couple of hundred subscribers. And Ben only had like, I think also a couple of hundred. So yeah, it's all progressed an incredible amount since then. But, no one particularly inspired me. I just wanted to just give it a go, basically. So the next question is basically, someone asking sort of how does the situation work with me being British and I live in Spain and I've got like a mixed background. So, and also where I live. I'm not going to go like major into detail because obviously, you know, this is pretty personal, but, essentially I've got English parents, and then my dad's side comes from a Spanish background. My mum's side comes from an English background. So I'm half English, half Spanish anyway. Also, yes, I'm British. I live in Spain, and I live near Alicante, the city of Alicante, and more specifically near Benidorm. That's about as much as I'm going to narrow it down for you. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Next up, Tom asks, any chance of a setup tour in the near future? Also, your channel's been growing like mad. Keep up the excellent work. Been here since about 1,000 subs. Well deserved. Looking forward to the future videos and series. Well, thanks a lot for that. Absolute OG there from 1,000 subs. That's a while back now. That's surreal for me to say that 1,000 was my first goal on YouTube. But, yeah, in terms of a setup in the near future, I don't really have much to show. I've got to be honest. It's literally like this. I've got a steering wheel, a single monitor, a webcam, PC, PS4, and now this. There's not much to it. I would like to do one once I've got a bit more stuff. I'm planning on adding more stuff soon, within the next 6 months. So, keep an eye out for that. But for now, I'll wait for that video to arrive because I feel that's a very special video that I can save for a later time. Next up, someone asks, am I going to join any online leagues for F1 2017? And the answer is, probably not. I'd love to. I genuinely would. Unfortunately, I work on Sundays, which is when AOR takes place, and that's the only league I'm pretty much willing to race for. So that sort of pretty much makes it impossible for me. Also, I want to be really committed to league racing, and I want to do it again, and I don't really have that time anymore. So maybe in the future, who knows? But for now, unfortunately not because I don't want to, because circumstances don't allow me to. However, I'm taking part in the esports events and the AOI esports race, and I'm having a lot of fun just sort of rediscovering how to really extract the maximum out of a car. But yeah, not for now. Next question from George is, who do I think will win the F1 Championship this season? And I'm recording this after Singapore, so it's really hard to call. I want Vettel to win, but I think Hamilton will. Undiscovered Lad asks, how did I become the smoothest driver in the world? And to be honest with you, it's very simple. Practice. Next up, someone asks, what is my favourite F1 team and driver? My favourite team is Ferrari. Not that they're my favourite, but I have a leniency towards them because I've grown up with them winning and I just like them more than other teams. But I'm perfectly happy to see McLaren do well, or I like to see Renault do well. Some of the teams that I grew up watching who were more competitive at the time do well. Williams is always good to see them up the pack whenever they have a good race. But yeah, I don't really have a really favourite team. I just like Ferrari more than the others. And also my favourite driver, I don't have one. It was Michael Schumacher. I don't know why, but I don't really want to have a favourite driver. I'm quite happy to be a neutral because you appreciate the sport in a different way. And also the amount of BS on Twitter, you sort of remove those rose tinted glasses and you get to see everything just a neutral perspective, and it's very, very good and actually quite enjoyable. I do like some guys. I like a lot of drivers. I think the top of the list, I do really like Daniel Ricciardo. I like Jenson Button when he was there. I like Alonso. I like a lot of the guys. They're all great, but yeah, I don't really support anyone in F1. I'm just basically a neutral with a lenience towards Ferrari. Curtis asks, will McLaren ever improve? Yes, with the Renault deal, but I don't think they'll be winning races anytime soon. Gaming Bros asks, what got me into playing F1 games and how old was I when I played my first F1 game? I would say I wasn't a gamer that much when I was younger. Basically, it was very simple. Around 2004, I just had the urge. I don't know why, I just wanted to try the PS2. It was my first ever gaming console. And then one day my dad just came home and he brought home a brand new PS2, a silver PS2 with the F1 2004 game on there. So that was the first time I had a console and the first time I played an F1 game. It wasn't really triggered or instinctively triggered, but I was a big fan of F1 back in 2004 anyway, and my dad got me that game with the PS2 and I played that game to bits and it's still one of my favourite games to this day. And yeah, that's pretty much what got me in it. And I was 2004, so I was about 6-7 years old at the time, so yeah, not too bad. Then Spitfires ask a bit of a double-edged sword question. My least favourite driver on the grid to win the championship or Spurs to win the Premier League? Well, that's a very simple question because I don't support anybody, so I'll take the first option. Thank you very much. Dimitri asks, what is the next goal of amount of subscribers? I don't know really how to take this one. My pinned tweet on Twitter is 15,000, but realistically, I mean, at 100k? I don't know, or 50. I really don't know. Right now, short term, I do want to hit the 15 because that's a pinned tweet I've got and I want to hit that target because for Christmas last year, I had 10,000 and I didn't achieve the target. But this year, I've got a good chance of hitting 15,000. So I want to try and hit that first. But I don't know, maybe, I think it's got at least 50. I think I've got to try and push 50. Why not? Let's just give it a go and see what happens. Next question is an interesting one regarding Arsenal. A lot of football questions in this Q&A, which I'm quite happy to answer because I'm a huge football fan also. And what I think of the Arsenal situation at the moment as a rival fan, obviously when I screenshot this question, this was a couple of weeks before the Chelsea game. Now the Chelsea game happened at the weekend, 0-0. I can imagine it being tough, having a board that's not willing to sign the players. I think me and a lot of other people watch Arsenal Fan TV, but genuinely, I don't like Arsenal, to be honest with you, but, I can understand the frustration of not signing players because at Chelsea, it's well known, at least with us Chelsea fans, we know the manager has zero say with the players. It's all down to the board who players they pick to sign. And, that's why we had a steam crew 2 years ago when Mourinho got sacked. So I can understand when the board is just not doing the right things. But, yeah, Next up, Sammy asks, which is my favourite football team? That would be Chelsea. Stephen then asks, what do I do for a living? Well, I do various things. Obviously, I'll do this. And I also have a part-time job. I work in a restaurant on weekends. And I've been doing that all summer long. I've been working pretty much Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And at the moment, I'm only working Saturday and Sundays because I'm back at college. So, I'm only working a part-time role. So Monday to Friday, I'm at school or college. And then, Saturday and Sunday, I'm at work. So I don't really have any days off. But, in terms of college and school, I'm doing an apprenticeship in tourism, which is something that's very popular in this area where I live in. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. But, yeah, it's good. You know, it's good to work while studying because you've just got a constant source of money coming in, and it just helps because I basically drive everywhere now because everything that I go to is far away, so I need my car, and it's good to maintain those sort of things in life. You know, also just any perks you want to buy, you know, equipment upgrades, all these sort of good things that you want. You know, you need money to buy them. So, simple life lesson: a job is always welcome. Next question is an interesting one, and it's not to be rude, but do you have a lisp? And don't worry, not being rude at all. It's absolutely understandable, but I don't know. I don't have a lisp. It sounds like I have a lisp, but I don't. Essentially I have an underbite, so my lower jaw is larger than my top one, so my teeth don't match, so therefore this is my front, these are my top teeth, these are my bottom ones. I have a gap at the bottom, and I can't close it. That's how it is right now. So therefore the way I pronounce it, my S is different to how a normal person with a jaw which is like this would normally do it. So it's not a lisp, it's just the only way I can pronounce my S's, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah. Just one of the things is, I think it's like somewhat genetic because it's run in the family in the past, I think. And, it's just got worse as I've grown older, but it seems to have stopped now where it is. I may get surgery to get it reduced, but it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So I'm debating that at the moment. Jack asked, what do I think of the, Fernando Alonso situation at McLaren? I don't know. We talk about it in the podcast and we sort of get bored of it. It's just one of them things, to be honest. When will it end? Because, I feel bad for Alonso, I really do. I think the guy, especially after Singapore, like, he could have been in second place after the first corner. But, it's been going for so long now that McLaren and Alonso just need, they need something, like, they just need that Renault deal to just really, just sort things out for them, basically. Next question is, am I playing any football videos? Not really. It's not something that my channel is built around, and yeah, it'd be cool to do maybe about a second channel or something, but it's not really on my mind right now. Dennis Kingdom asked a question that's pretty much already been asked, but who do I support in the F1 Drivers' Championship? I don't support anybody, but like I said, if I had to pick someone to win the championship, I'd like Vettel to win, other than Hamilton, just to sort of just bring Ferrari back into play. Just break the Mercedes dominance a little bit, and also just have someone different than a Mercedes win the championship all the time, because, you know, this constant domination gets boring, you know, because, essentially, even though Schumacher came back to the sport for 3 years, he didn't do anything in those 3 years, so I've been a neutral since 2006, and, it just sucks when you got a team dominating, to be honest with you. And in my opinion, the Mercedes dominance is worse than the Red Bull one. You can fight me on this all you like, but I've got my reasons. If you're a Hamilton fan, you're probably going to like this comment, but either way, that's my opinion. Next up, Mr. Rap asks, what's the best F1 race I've ever watched? That is, wow. That is a question. I genuinely cannot think of a race in terms of picking one out specifically, but I remember I loved Brazil 2006, watching Schumacher's last race, fight back through the field like he did. Also, the Imola 2005, 2006 races were absolutely fantastic. Hungary 2006. There's a few races in 07, like, there were so many races in 07 and 08 that were just decent races. Also in 09, I think Spa was a very unique one because of what happened in the Force India. Also in 010, you know, there was so many like just great races in that season, you know, with all the different winners we had and the close championship to the end. And then 2011, obviously Canada stands out. 2012 Valencia for personal reasons, as Michael Schumacher's final podium stands out. But some great races in that season also, with Raikkonen winning, you know, the 7 different winners. And yeah, I think there's a few in 2015, like Kota. 2014 Bahrain. There's been so many great races, I can't name them all, but there's been so many in like the last decade that I could watch over and over again. Probably, I mean, Canada 2011 is like right at the top of the list, but there's so many good races in that time frame. Next up, Neil asks, which was my first F1 game, which I've already answered, but that was F1 2004, and also which Codemasters F1 game has been the worst, in my opinion. Probably 2014, to be honest, because 2013 was a very good game, F1 2013, and then they moved up to 2014, and it lost a lot of the features and how good the game felt in that game, and it was the last one on the old generation console. And I don't know why, but something with that game just didn't feel right. Like, the online was pretty poor. It felt like an F1 2013, like, 0.5 with 2014 cars and, like, sounds, but the cars and like didn't handle like 2014 cars. There's so many things wrong with that game. 2015 was alright. I mean, that you could say that was a poor game because it was very bare bones, but the fact it was on the next gen console and the actual gameplay itself was really good. It took a huge step up in terms of the AI racing. That one was a bit better, but yeah, overall 2014 was the worst. It was sort of like 2010, then it dipped in 2011, 2012, sort of basically leveled out, and 2013 went down slightly, and then after that 14 took a plunge, and they've been basically rebuilding from 2014 ever since. And 2016 was on par with 2010, maybe just below it, and F1 2017 is like neck and neck, if not slightly above F1 2010 for me. To really just take that next level, I think F1 2017 needs to have the press interviews, the post-race interviews, the paddock, a bit more free roaming, you know, loads more paddock cutscenes, loads of stuff like interactions with drivers. If you have an altercation with a driver, for example, or say you have a crash with your rival, like the journey on FIFA, like have a confrontation with a driver or something, you know, and you can choose different options in terms of what your response is. Loads of things that could really bring the F1 game to another level. But yeah, I think in terms of the worst, 2014 was definitely the worst, and they've done a really good recovery ever since then. And finally, Robbie with the final question of the Q&A, and the one that I've left till last because, you know, this is one of the guys that I've seen on my channel for so long, and good to see them leaving a question. He says, many congratulations on hitting 10k. That's a massive achievement considering what happened to your graphics card back in December last year, and I deserve it, and I hope my channel keeps on growing the way it is right now. Massive thank you for that. And a lot of guys don't know that, but my graphics card basically died last December, and I went about 2.5 months / 2 months without doing a single video, or a single proper F1 video, and my channel was doing really well before that with the F1 2016 game, and then my channel just came to a grinding halt for 2 months, and I've been rebuilding since about February, March this year up until this point. So I've had to gather momentum slowly and surely, and especially during the summer making the videos to really get the channel back up and running again. And it was a really like painful experience because everything I worked so hard for I felt like I'd lost, and I really had to fight hard, like fight back to really win that back, and I feel like I've done a good job of doing that, especially if you consider where my channel is now compared to last year. And his question is, other than F1, MotoGP and FIFA, what other video games do I enjoy playing? And doesn't have to be racing. Well, I'll be honest, I'm pretty simple. I like very few games. I don't mind indie games such as Uncharted or things like that, or, you know, Assassin's Creed. Like, if you give them to me, that I'll play them, but they're not the sort of game I'll actively go out and buy. I don't know why. I genuinely enjoy them when I play them, but for some reason it's never crossed my mind to go buy them. But I'll stick to F1, I'll stick to FIFA. In terms of playing them for fun though, I don't really play F1 for fun that much now, to be honest. I'm happy with like Battlefield, Call of Duty, FIFA, and then this year I'm considering maybe getting NBA 2K18. It looks absolutely incredible this year. Also, possibly I do want to get the Assassin's Creed remastered. I know it's been out for a while now, but I do want to go back and play Assassin's Creed 2. That's one of my all-time favorite video games. And yeah, I'll get Red Dead Redemption 2 when that eventually rolls around. There's a few games on the list that I do want to get, and yeah, I do enjoy playing other games, but generally I'm quite happy with just playing like having 2 games like FIFA and Call of Duty. I'll just happily stick with those 2. I don't need lots of games to keep me happy. I'm happy to just stick with one. And then finally, also says congrats on Callum reaching 10k subs also, which I'll also say congrats Cal on a 10k, even though you're now congrats on 11k like myself. And he's also been on fire as has myself, and that is true. Me and Cal have really been on a great roll at the moment, and if you guys don't know who Callum is, then I'll leave a link down below, but you should know who he is by now. He's featured on the channel regularly enough by now. But yeah, that's about it for the Q&A, guys, and it's been real, it's been very good. A lot of football related questions, which I actually quite enjoyed for a change. And yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the Q&A. If you have, then please do smash the like button and let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. Any more questions, leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll reply to every single comment that I think is reasonable to reply to. If not, I'll just give it a thumbs up or give it a like. And yeah, also check out his videos on screen right now. And also check out GTA Mega in the link down below if you guys want a cheeky discount code Tom97 at checkout for 5% off. But other than that, guys, I thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.